So it's 10:29 and I woke up from a nap and I was perspiring. So they said if they had known that doing this would have burned their videos out, they wouldn't have done it. So they lied. First of all, they never mentioned any videos while I sleep or dreams before I started talking about it. They never said anything about it. You notice how they like to try to impress me? If they were doing this, they would have said something about it. So they said they didn't even know this was possible. So that's my point. It seems like they steal my ideas. They listen to me and surveil me so they could steal my ideas. And then once I say or do something, they try to come in and say they were doing it. Had this been happening all along, I'm 49, they would have said something about it, especially the types of people, like I said, this is part of their psychology. And I have two different playlists. One is their psychology and psychology of predators. In their psychology, I tell you about my videos, and I hope that you guys get to look at that playlist, because then I find other videos that confirm what I'm saying. Because that is part of their psychology. Their psychology isn't to confirm what I'm saying. It's usually to argue with me. But when I have a good idea, then they try to claim they're the ones who gave it to me, or they were always aware of it. That's part of their psychology. It's like when you are doing something and then suddenly someone tries to take credit for what you're doing, or they try to say they gave you the idea, but they didn't even do anything. That's what they do. They watched me doing things and then claimed they were doing it. So when that didn't work, then they switched this to making it seem like this is a lie detector, when they're the liars. Then when that didn't work, then they tried to make me too sick to work. And then when I started to get better, they tried to keep me sick. So it was not just making me sick, keeping me sick. So then now that I'm trying to fight for disability, and you guys have seen how sick I am, you've seen the EEG say hyperventilation, but diagnosis seizure, but I'm fighting for disability. So I'm waking up perspiring, which is them heating me so that I can continue to hear them, because they said what this does is this. I told you it's the swelling of my face, and I'm going to move over so I get better light so you guys can see. You see how big my face is? So they said, why don't you put a thumbnail where you compare your smaller face to your bigger face? That's my point. You see how that wasn't their idea, but they want to come up with a way of giving me a teeny tiny idea and then using it to say they're helping me. They aren't. They're trying to keep my head so swollen that I can pick up the sound. So they lowered the sounds. They made the volume lower. And then my head being swollen, and exposed to whatever this is, which I think is radiation, to swell my face, I'd be able to hear them. So they said, this was always happening to you. It was not. So they said, well, that's why we had to keep you exposed to Felicia, because she brings out the worst in you. That's a lie. I've shown you I was never in trouble. How can they keep insisting their lies are true? That is really the psychology of a predator, where they just cannot accept reality. Like, I can show them. Let me find something that I can just pick up and show. I'll pause this. I can show them. This is glue. They said Felicia reminded them that I got an A in art when I was in elementary school. So I can show them. I used to do this very well. Right after I say that, no, you didn't always do that well. There was a time that possibly you didn't do that well. That is the psychology of a predator, where they are not accepting certain things. So they keep saying why would why would I continue to be around this? That was their initial goal. It was not about dreams. It was not about arts and crafts or going articles. It was about forcing me out of my apartment, forcing me to give them my cup of Java production, forcing me to give them a Twitter account that had blue checks from political people. That was what this was initially about. It was always about forcing me to do something. Now it's about forcing me to talk about stories that they heard from other people that thought they could claim I'm the one telling them these stories, that they then can claim I was having dreams about or that I was thinking. So they keep trying to remind me of the day, and I told you guys this in a video from 2021. When they hit me so much, I was so swollen that I just screamed. And after being hit with this technology, and you saw how sick I was, they continued to do it and continued to do it. They said their computer programmer went to the police. I went to the police. My mother went to the police. We had the police come here. And that's the issue. The issue is, how do these criminals get away